You guys want to ask some questions? I'll be glad to. I know somebody's going to have to go. That's just fine. But if you got some questions, Gary?
Well, I want two things. I want to thank you for putting out the information that you put out. And those of you who don't know, if you ever contact Bob for a question, he gets back to you. And it's within a day with an answer. And there are very few politicians that will do that. I mean, it might be that he gives the answer to someone to get to me, but I have never, this probably 6 times or 7 or 8, I get an answer back. And you can reach the man, you can get an answer. He never sidesteps, promises made, promises kept. I can testify that's the truth.
Thank you. Sam, you had a question?
The 3, you were going to address was it Senate Bill or House Bill 3?
Okay. Yes, there's a bill in the House, and I will say I have a different view of what we need to do with regards to executive powers. I think that the caption on the bill that's being proposed over there says it all. It's to expand the authority of the governor during an emergency declaration. I think it needs to be just exactly the opposite. There are some things in that bill that I find it hard to even understand how they got there. One is it actually creates an oligarchy during the time of a declaration. It would totally decimate any new election security law we pass because it gives the Secretary of State total authority to change any law during an emergency declaration, which is one of the big problems we've had in the past. And it codifies any order that the governor gets that would be a jailable offense if you didn't follow it. And so I have a hard time with those and several other parts to it, but the caption alone enough is what needs to change. Senator Brian Birdwell from out in the other side of Fort Worth has a bill. I'm a joint author with him. We started working on this back in about 3 or 4 months ago that will actually provide a structure that gets the legislature involved in a declaration within 30 days. And it reins in the executive powers, makes it clear that the executive powers are to be over changing rules and regulations, not laws in statute or in the Constitution. And so I'll be supporting that side. Sammy?
Secretary, last week, the Lone Star Coalition Representative Slayton talked about Texit. Would you like to explain anything to this group about the movement on a possible Texit?
I think what he's got, what they've got in that bill is basically a study.
That's right.
To define what Texas would have to do if it decided that the federal government became so oppressive that the population voted to do something about staying in the union. It's just to say, from a standpoint of the fact there's a lot of talk about you can do it, you can't do it. Not many people know what all is involved, and I think this bill will lay it out if it ends up doing what it says it's going to do, so people are able to make an informed decision and not just an emotional decision.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Jack Alexander. I wrote you a proposal and sent it out in a letter form of some things about voter integrity that I thought ought to be considered. I wondered whether or not you got that letter.
Yes, sir, I did, and it was part of what we considered. We reached out and took input from everybody that wanted to speak on the issue. I even went to Heritage Alliance, got them to help us with it. Every organization out there, True the Vote, and others that had an input. We put it all together. The omnibus bill I have, I think, covers about every aspect of election to tighten the loopholes we have out there on error. And believe me, we have a system that allows for a lot of error. We've had 2 major problems, one down in Hill County and one out in Midland, that changed an election, and it was all human error. So we've got a lot to be fixed there. Well, thank you guys for coming, appreciate it. If you have any questions, our office is open. No masks have been required up to date, and it's sure ain't gonna start now.
Thank you, Senator.